Is your gut health making you sick? Hello, this is Shirlene. I host the Southern Gal Show, and I want to talk to you just for a few minutes. Well, we're going to dive deeper than just a few minutes, but talk a little bit about gut health. Gut health is very important to our health, and personally, I can speak from personal experience because I've had gut health issues. Even though I've always eaten pretty healthy, I've still had gut health issues, and one of the reasons is I've got a sweet tooth, and sugar is bad for your gut, so I have to watch that. But because of probably more my age as much as anything else, when you get older, you start developing gut issues, and your diet gets more important, not less important. What you eat affects your health, and your gut affects every single organ, everything in your body. But the most recent research and what I want to talk about today, and I'm going to start doing at least a weekly series on gut health, but your gut health now, they've shown, research shows it affects whether or not you lose weight. Weight loss, people. You know, everybody, there's multi-millions of dollars spent every year on weight loss products, and yet still Americans are very obese, sometimes mildly obese, all the way up to being obese. And if all those weight loss products are really working, you'd see a lot thinner people walking around because it's a multi-billion-dollar business. It's huge how much money people spend on weight loss, but I don't think it's working. Even if they lose some weight, a lot of times it's just water weight. A lot of times there's things in those products that may or may not be so good for you. For example, one of the things I see in a lot of products, they'll tout weight loss, and then they'll tout how they support energy. But when you read the ingredients, they got some kind of caffeine or something that's like caffeine. Caffeine can come under different names. And they're putting that in there because, yes, you're going to feel better. But if you've ever had a stroke, you don't want the caffeine. And caffeine overall isn't that good for you. I don't want products with a lot of caffeine in them because they can make your heart race. They can do things that are negative for your body. So I avoid those like the plague. But let's look at some of your microbiome and some of the research on how your gut health can affect weight loss. And there's real research showing this. But one of the things we need to keep in mind, and most of us know, or you may not know, but there's trillions of call them bugs or bacteria, even viruses in our gut. Our gut is full of things that are good for us and bad for us. There's good bacteria, there's bad bacteria, and there's this battle going on all the time between the two. You want the good bacteria to be strong enough to win out, and it really is a battle. And research shows that these things in our gut, these bacteria, do affect everything in our body. One, there's a direct connection between the gut and your brain. Your vagus nerve connects between your gut and brain. If you get inflammation in that vagus nerve, then that communication can be broken down. So your brain health and your gut health are absolutely connected. And like I said, there's enough science that we know that that's true. To keep that gut health healthy, to keep your brain healthy, to keep your body healthy, to keep food cravings down, you're going to have to increase the good bacteria and try to it will battle out some of the bad bacteria. So that's really how it has to work. The things that we eat can affect our gut health. Obviously, sugar is negative. Any inflammatory foods can be negative on your gut health. Even the things, hey Sandy, even things like alternative sweeteners. Some of them can be really bad for your gut health. And you know, you see a lot of products now, and I buy them too, but I'm trying to kind of watch it. But they'll say, you know, 1 net carb. Well, that's all great. But read the list of products on there and make sure that while you might be cutting carbs, you also might be getting some things that are going to really affect your gut health in a negative way. And a lot of those products you buy in the supermarket shelves like that can have very negative effects on your gut health. And then when your gut health gets bad, you start having digestive issues. You can start having mood swings. You can have anger issues. You can have all kinds of sugar cravings. It can even affect your heart. It can affect every organ in your body because these bad bacteria our gut really controls our thinking, our moods, our mood swings, our sugar cravings, our cravings for certain kinds of foods. Our guts really, there's trillions of them in there, guys, and they're really ruling our body. And there's that's the way we're built. That's the way we're made. So there's nothing we can do about that. But you want to keep the good bacteria controlling the bad. Years and years and years and years and years ago, 100 years, 200 years, people didn't have all this sugar. If they had sweeteners, it was more of a sorghum molasses, which actually has some iron and some vitamins and minerals in it. Or they had some honey, or they had more natural sweeteners than processed sugar. And the processed sugar, people say, well, it's poisonous, and yeah, it can be, but I think everything in moderation. I'll have a cheat day once a week. I made cinnamon rolls on the weekend and posted it online because one day a week, I'll call it a cheat day, and I ate one cinnamon roll. Didn't kill me. But I'm not going to eat them every day, and I'm not going to make them and keep them around every day. So you've got to keep things, I think, in moderation. But to lose weight, you've got to have a healthy gut. There's been studies done on twins that had identical twins that had the same DMA. They came from the same egg, and they would feed them like good things that would build good bacteria or things that will build bad to the two different people. And the ones that got, even though they were identical twins, the ones that got the things in them that caused bad bacteria to take over would gain weight, more calories. Your body will absorb nutrients based on your gut health. Our gut health, I tell you, microbiome research is just showing more and more and more. It's really everything. It causes inflammation when you got bad bacteria. It causes fungus. When you break out with fungus infections, you've got a gut issue. If you don't sleep well, you probably have a gut issue. If you're gaining weight, you probably have a gut issue. So, people can go on all kinds of diets, and that's all fine, but if you don't get that gut under control, that weight may or may not come off, and it certainly may or may not stay off, and you'll just have a constant battle where research shows if you get your gut under control, you get your weight under control, because the bad bacteria is what keeps your body from absorbing what it needs, good nutrients, and it also makes those cravings for things that we don't need. If you have the cravings, you probably got a gut issue. So you're going to have to look at it pretty seriously, do some research and just see. But they've done a lot of studies on mice. They've done a lot of studies on people. So we know that the reality is it does affect our weight. Those wanting to lose weight and those flocking to weight loss products probably need to be looking at some gut health before they worry about some of the other stuff. You could probably leave most of the other stuff off. One of the things I know, when I used to have really bad gut issues, and I don't have them so much anymore, and I didn't have any until I got older, but I did start developing those, like I said. I couldn't digest food very well, and I would throw up at night what I ate in the daytime. It would just be, I just couldn't digest it, and it'd make me sick. Now, I did start taking some digestive enzymes, and I think those are very helpful, too, as you get older. But I also started on some things to build up my gut health. And there's many, many things you can do. Now, you can have yogurt. I've talked about blueberries being good for you. Blueberries build up some good bacteria in your gut. Kimchi and these things. I do sourdough breads. I make my own anymore, or biscuits, when I have those things, because the sourdough is fermented and I can digest it. I cannot digest gluten very well still. But if I do the fermented, the sourdough, that builds up the good bacteria in your body, and it's easier on your gut to begin with. So if you want to keep your gut healthy, you can try some of those things. What you eat, and like I said, I'm going to do at least once a week talk on these. But hey, Deborah, but I also want to get into I'm going to put together some handouts and things that I'll tell you later you can ask me about, but some things on gut health that will help you with what you should be eating and maybe what you should leave off. Even herbal teas. I know I'm going to be talking on a show with Deb here pretty soon. And I'm going to talk about herbal teas, but herbal teas can affect your gut health as well as prevent you from having they can help reduce your blood pressure and blood sugars and things like that. It's not medical advice. Those are just things that studies show that these herbal teas can have these properties in them. But there is a better way. There's a guy called Sean Stevenson. Maybe some of you've read it. He's got a best-selling book on gut health out. I think it's called Smart Eating, but I'm not for sure exactly the name. But Sean reminds us that we need to treat our bodies holistically, and we do, obviously. You don't want to just treat one little thing, and that's what a lot of times, even weight loss products, they're designed to make you lose water, and they're designed to make you lose caffeine to keep you pumped up, but they're not treating your body holistically most of the time. And you want to treat it holistically. What helps your eyes helps your lungs and your heart. What helps your lungs and your heart helps other organs in your body. So it's all a holistic approach to building health. And that's why Deb's posted about the herbal teas and just herbs in general. They do treat your body holistically. And anything I've taken, and I'm going to talk about something here in a minute that I do take every day to build my own gut health up, and it definitely has improved 99%. But there's things you have to take but they work on your body. What works on my gut works on my eyes, works on my heart, works on every part, anti-aging. It's good for all those things. So what helps one area helps other areas if it's a holistic approach. Natural derived products, and natural can be a misconception. A lot of things are natural, but that doesn't mean they're necessarily good for you, because there's drugs that are natural that aren't necessarily drugs people take, not medical drugs. Well, medical drugs can come from natural things too, but some things you pick up that's natural out in the forest can kill you because it might be poison. So the word natural doesn't really mean a lot by itself. But when I'm talking about natural products, I'm talking about things that don't have a lot of things or anything added to them, really. They're just God-given things that come from the earth that are good for us. And we'll talk about this in a minute, but it's got 3 things in it. That's it. And they're all just come from the earth. They're things that God gave us. And they're all healthy. These things are good for your gut. I take one of these almost every day, and when I don't take one of these, this is a gut biome, and if you want to know what that is, you can send me a message or something, and I'll let you know. But you put this in whatever you're drinking, and it takes care of your gut issues, because it really does have. It has spirulina in it, but it has some fiber and some good bacteria. The spirulina alone, and I take it some days without taking this. I'll just drink the phycocyan and some kind of spirulina. But because it's a natural product that God put on the earth, the first thing on the earth was algae. Those things, you don't need to add caffeine, and you don't need to add all this stuff to it, because they're already there naturally. So when you take these things that are natural, your body can use them holistically. There's not anything in there that's going to interfere. There's no caffeine. There's nothing that's just going to make you run to the bathroom because it's making you lose water weight. So it's all good for you stuff. So this, when I get my gut health built up with this, I'm helping my whole body, including staying young and staying healthier and having more energy and protecting my eyes and my heart and all. I mean, it's all holistic. This is holistic stuff. And I really do like these things. But I was going to talk about spirulina just for a minute. If you buy spirulina, look at where it comes from. If it comes from China or India or even Oregon in the United States, people get it out of lakes, and a lot of it coming out of the lakes in Oregon and China and India and other places. People have gotten really sick because they're full of toxins, and that's the problem with spirulina, is how it's grown. I get mine from a company that does photobioreactors. They grow it inside. It's temperature controlled. There's no contaminants in it. You got to be really careful with spirulina. It is the healthiest food on the earth. None bar. It's got all your proteins and all your amino acids and all your vitamins and minerals except vitamin C. And they use camu fruit, which is extremely high in vitamin C, to go with it. So you've got that too. But there's few, I don't know of any other product that has all your proteins, all your amino acids, all your vitamins, and all your minerals in it. There is none. And that's grown in a controlled environment like this is. There's nothing out there that can compare. I mean, there's nothing. There's things that are good for this or this or this or this, But I don't know of any product that's got all of that in it. I don't believe it exists. I think this is pretty much it. And that's why I use what I use, because it's a holistic approach to my health, and it's very easy. You just put this in your drink and drink it. So we want to have a holistic approach. I want to get down to something here. Let me find just a minute. We talked about your gut there's a vagus tube that goes from your brain to your gut. And if that stays healthy and free of inflammation, and you've got good gut health, that gut health is what's telling your body what you want to eat. Believe it or not, it's not your brain telling you what you want to eat. It's that bacteria in your gut. Because when those bad bacteria, they feed off of sugars and things and yeast, and they'll make you crave those things. I mean, they really will, because they want to be fed. They don't want to die off. So when you feed those things to them, you're just making them grow by the billions, and pretty soon they outgrow the good stuff. When your bacteria gets out of whack, as mine has in the past, you got a problem. You really do. You're going to get sick. So your gut has to be healthy. So pay more attention to your gut health if you want to lose weight, especially. People who have problems losing weight and keeping it off really, really need to pay more attention to their gut health, because research shows that's probably your biggest problem. So what can you do to improve your microbiome? Well, what you eat. We talked about yogurt and blueberries and kimchi and things, but the problem is, are you really going to eat those every day? You buy some yogurts and no sugar in it or whatever. I put stevia in mine, but you eat that for a week or 10 days, but then you get tired of eating it. Hey, Dorinda. So you eat it 8 or 10 days. Are you going to keep that up every single day? Probably not. So you have to start relying on things like this. Or we have a blue drink. You can put 3 or 4 squirts into something you drink. But you have to have something that's going to get you through every day, because most of us don't eat a very ideal diet. And let me tell you something else. If you're eating donuts and waffles or pancakes or things with syrup and whatever in the morning, and then you're going through the fast food place at noon, and then you're eating processed foods at night, you're going to have a gut issue, and you're going to have health issues. It's just it takes time. Sometimes it might be 10 or 20 years, but you're heading on a one-way track to health issues. As you get older, you're going to have brain fog, and sometimes people have worse than that. Your diet and your exercise too, it's everything. You have to protect your health. I mean, we are the only ones that can do that. Nobody else can do it for us. We can have things like this we can take that can help us tremendously, but if I take this and I just eat donuts every morning and fast food drive-ins at lunch and a bunch of processed food at night, there's not enough of this that's going to help that. You've got to change your diet as well. But you want to because you're not probably going to get enough good bacteria in your diet to make the good bacteria grow over the bad and keep your body healthy. You're going to need this kind of extra stuff too. There's just no way around it, especially as you age. It's more and more and more and more important that you get some kind of a supplement that's going to work. And let me tell you something else about supplements. Most of what you buy on the market is just junk. It's pure junk. It's got fillers in it. They don't even have to list what's in there. There may be a little bit of the product, but a whole lot of fillers. A lot of times those fillers can be toxic, contaminants in them. The more toxins you put in your body, the more foods you eat with herbicides on them, those definitely affect your gut health. And your gut health will start deteriorating. There's many, many herbicides. There's 85,000 chemicals that the government has allowed the companies to use in our makeup and our hairsprays and our body washes or soaps. I mean, it starts with what you do in the morning to what you go all the way through the day. What you got, your food. You're exposed to so many chemicals that are toxic. This will help detox a lot of that out, and you've got to get it out. But you also want to reduce the toxic load as much as you can yourself. So it's really important to keep those things out of your diet. Drink things like fresh squeezed lemons. I make lemonade most days, not every day, but almost every day. I squeeze a lemon, put stevia or monk fruit in it, and I drink that with whatever else. Sometimes I'll add some hibiscus tea or dandelion tea or something with it. I'll drink one of these with it, just get it down in about a cup. But I'll drink that lemonade throughout the day because that's a good way to detox your body too. But these things are very detoxing as well. So it's a challenge sometimes to get through, to do it all. I mean, we try to do things right, and we can still have health issues. So we just have to keep trying and keep doing and figure out the best way that we can get the best things in our bodies that we can. And the older we get, the more important, like I said, that becomes. So try to avoid as many of those toxins, herbicides, and chemicals as you can. On top of destroying your health, a poor gut can destroy, like I said, your brain, and get a lot of inflammation in your body from a poor gut health. Inflammation causes disease. I had a book, I don't know, it may still be out, but I think I bought it 20 years ago. But it was called Inflammation Nation. And their claim is, and it's pretty much, I think, true now, they know it is, inflammation and poor gut health, now they're saying, is the underlying causes of all diseases. We don't take care of our gut. We just don't. And the research is showing that we've got to start taking better care of it if we want to really fight diseases and live longer and live better. So keep your gut healthy, keep your body healthy. There's a Dr. Raphael Kelman, an MD in New York City, physician and author, writes, I pulled this offline, the microbiome diet states, simply put, if you get the microbiome healthy, you will lose weight. Research now shows that it's less about eating certain percentage of carbohydrates, proteins, and fats, and more about creating the correct growth of preventing the overgrowth of unhealthy bacteria and helping the good bacteria grow. Now, that's a pretty powerful statement, but a lot of people are coming around, doctors and medical and researchers are coming around to that conclusion. It's not your carbohydrates and your protein. A lot of people, they say, well, I don't eat hardly anything. You know, and they probably don't. They're starving themselves almost, but they're not losing the weight. Your body's hanging on to that. It's because your microbiome is probably out of whack. And you can look at a lot of books, like I said, out there in the markets now that talk about this. You've got to get the microbiome in health. There's a really easy way to do that. There's a flurry of groundbreaking research that's connecting the dots between obesity and gut health. So if you want to know more about what I take, let me know. If you want to know more about things you eat, I'm going to put together a sheet of things that are good for your gut that you can eat. And they'll be broad enough you can, have a varied diet. And you should have a variety of things in your diet. Don't just stick to one or two things. Yogurt's great and I love it, but I don't want it every day. Even blueberries, as much as I love them and eat them, I don't want them every single day. So there's, you can balance off. There's different things you can eat for your gut health. But I can't stress enough getting a good microbiome product that will help build up your gut. Something that you can put in something you drink and just get it done every day, regardless of what your diet is otherwise. As long as your diet's not just terrible. Like I said, a terrible diet is donuts and sweets all day. That's hard to overcome. But if you're really trying to take care of your health and, keep your sweets to maybe one day a week or keep them to a minimum. Excuse me, I'm going to sneeze, I think. Anyway, keep them to a minimum. It goes a long way. And then, drink something. And what I was going to say, too, about vitamins, when you get older, those vitamins don't absorb very well. Most of the time, they're just going to go right through you. And if you have gut issues, you're not going to absorb those vitamins and a lot of those weight loss products anyway. You've got to have a liquid form that absorbs right in your bloodstream. And that's what I take, is just the liquid form of things that, it's just real simple. It's just part of my routine in the morning. I go about my day and it's nothing to it. But that liquid will absorb right into your bloodstream, where vitamins, if your weight loss product is a pill, you got gut issues, you're not going to absorb that. I mean, you're just wasting your money on it because it's going to go right through you. So, if you want more information, let me know. And otherwise, you have a blessed day. And yes, Deb, I can't wait to get on your show. And March 8th, I believe. And we're going to talk about herbal teas and herbs in general for your health. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye-bye.